Anton's innovative translations of Sumerian, Egyptian, and Babylonian text challenge all preconceived ideas of humanity's ancient history. His translations of the ancient Sumerian tablets reveal a fascinating story of the Anunnaki, a race of beings that landed on Earth after a war in space, a war of the gods.
Working on the Sumerian tablets allowed me to investigate into our past. Thanks to these translations, I discovered that the Anunnaki, the Sumerian gods, arrived on Earth one day after a war in space. The tablets explain very clearly that the Anunna gods remained stuck on Earth. I think we can find traces of these conflicts in the solar system. For example, we find a lot of craters on the Moon. There is also traces of life present on Mars. Mars was once like the Earth with breathable air, a twin of planet Earth. And according to my research, from what I understand, the Anunna also once lived on Mars. They installed underground bases. These bases, in my opinion, are still present on Mars today. That is why future space missions are so important.
But who are the Anunnaki? And why did they come to Earth? And who were they at war with?
The Anunna, or the Anunnaki, are Sumerian gods. Anunna or Anunnaki means beings that came from the sky or from the heavens. The Anunnaki with the particle ki means that they were living on Earth. The term Anunna has several definitions, but the most common is princely seed. Some understand by this title that they are the prince of An or the seed of An. The ones that arrived on Earth settled down without the possibility of leaving, trapped on Earth. They also found themselves having to live with the Nungal, who belonged to the clan of Enki. Anunna belonged to the clan of Enlil. So we understand that from the beginning there was a lot of rivalry between the two clans, the Anunna and the Nungal. They are opposing clans. The word Nungal is generally translated as the high princes. I believe they are the fallen angels from the biblical text. The Nungal delivered many secrets to humanity. What I found interesting when working with the Sumerian text is that we realize certain activities or decisions of the gods Enki and Enlil correlate with the decisions of the God of the Bible, Yahweh.
La hiérarchie divine des dieux est ainsi faite quand les dieux arrivent sur terre. Il y a le
At the top of the hierarchy is And, the chief god.
Ensuite Enki et
Then Enki and Enlil.
Il faut savoir que quand il débarque sur terre, Enlil est avec une femme qui s'appelle Ninti.
When Enlil landed on Earth, he came with a priestess called Ninti or Ninma.
Même personnage. Et elle est regardée dans les textes comme une déesse mère.
According to the text, she is a very important and powerful serpent goddess.
Alors la grande différence entre les Anunnaki et les Nungal, c'est que les Anunnaki.
The difference between the Nungal and the Anunna is that the Anunna hold all the royal powers.
Et quant aux Nungal, eux, ils vont donc s'approcher du genre humain, l'aider.
The Nungal are initiators of mankind. They deliver secrets of the gods and mix with the humans. Just like what the Bible and other biblical texts say about how they will mix and breed with humans.
The Nungal are the Nephilim.
Enlil is a very complex and interesting character.
c'est que j'ai trouvé des textes qui expliquent très clairement
The
qu'il
texts
serait
explain
en fait
that
le
Enlil
fils
is in
d'Enki,
fact the son of Enki.
donc une création d'Enki.
Therefore,
Et il
he is a
serait à
creation of
l'origine
Enki
un
and
Nungal.
basically a Nungal.
Il fait partie d'une session de clonage qui a
He
été
was part of a
avortée,
cloning
qui s'est mal
experiment
passée,
that went wrong.
mais Enki a décidé de
But
garder
Enki
en vie,
decided to
pas-
spare his life.
Et ainsi, ça,
This
tout
all
ça se
happened
trouve
before they
avant
arrived on
l'arrivée, bien
Earth.
sûr, sur Terre.
Enki is also a clone from An.
Alors, il y a une grande différence entre les Anunnaki
There is a
et
big
les
difference between the
Nungal.
Anunnaki and the
Et il
Nungal
me
that is
semble assez
clearly
clair
shown
dans
in
le
the
texte.
text.
Les Anunnaki sont apparemment plutôt donc
The
des
Anunnaki
types
are
reptiliens
reptilian in
avec
form
une peau
and their
verte.
skin is
Et
green.
les Nungal sont au contraire plutôt de peau
And the
blanche,
Nungal are also a type of reptilian, but with
de
white
type aussi
skin.
reptilien. Faut
They
savoir
were
que les
created
Nungal,
with
donc
Kingu
des Enki,
genes.
ont été créés
And the Kingu are
avec
enemies of the
des
Ashunga.
gènes Kingu.
The Ashunga is a
Et
group
les
that formed with
Kingu
An and
sont
his
des
brothers.
ennemis,
The Kingu are at the top of
des
the hierarchy
grands
and
dieux
control every
Ushungal,
aspect
dont
of the
fait
reptilian
partie
family,
An.
and belongs to the royal family but is inferior in the royal caste.
Les Kingu étaient déjà dans le système
The
solaire quand
Kingu
les
were
Anunnaki
already
sont
present in the solar system when the Anunnaki came to the Earth.
La guerre qui
The reason the Anunnaki
oblige
came to
les
Earth is that they
Anunnaki
rebelled
à
against
s'installer
Tiamata.
sur Terre, à s'échouer sur
Tiamata
Terre.
is the top of the
Elle est
lower
due,
hierarchy of
au
royalty
fait
in the
que,
reptilian family.
les Anunnaki,
The
en fait,
Anunnaki
se
were in
sont
conflict
rebellés
with the
contre
Kingu
leur
and rebelled
interprétation.
against their rule.
Oui, les Kingu étaient très puissants et ils n'ont pas ce problème d'être
The Kingu
bloqués
were very
dans le
powerful
système
and were
solaire,
not trapped within
contrairement
the
aux
solar
Anunnaki.
system like the Anunnaki were.
Peu de textes en fait parlent des Kingu, c'est essentiellement
The Kingu are mainly mentioned in the Mesopotamian literature referencing the Babylonian mythology of creation.
Sinon, le reste vient
The rest of my
effectivement
knowledge
des
about Kingu is related to
informations
information I was able to receive in the form of visions.
Oui, effectivement, on retrouve cette idée.
Just as
Dieu,
And attempted to
dans la
slay
mythologie
Tiamata,
grecque,
the
Dieu
High Mother
qui va se
Goddess,
rebeller
in the ancient
contre
Mesopotamian
leur propre
literature,
mère.
there are also examples of a similar story, like the one in ancient Greek mythology, where Zeus tried to kill his father.
Effectivement, on peut trouver des rapports entre l'histoire d'Enki avec Odin, c'est évident.
So it is a very ancient story repeated in many different cultures around the world.
Finalement, l'arme que va porter Enki, c'est Horus qui va.
There are parallels in the Mesopotamian and Nordic mythology as such that Enki can be compared to Odin, Marduk, and even Horus in Egyptian mythology.
Dans laquelle,
Enki
se
had a
trouve
sword,
une connaissance
and for
sur,
Odin, it is replaced with a
l'origine des dieux.
spear.
Alors, il y a plusieurs épisodes vraiment intéressants dans la mythologie
There are
sumérienne,
several really
les
interesting
tablettes,
episodes
le
in the
Karsak,
Sumerian
et,
tablets, which I have translated in my book Eden.
À savoir, par exemple, l'idée que...
For example,
lorsque
when the
les
Anuna
dieux
and the
Anuna,
Nungal arrived on
les
Earth,
Nungal
they
arrivent
settle
sur
on
Terre,
top of a
ils
mountain and
s'installent
created their own
sur une
garden
montagne
called
et ils
Eden.
créent leur propre jardin qui s'appelle Eden. Et ensuite, très rapidement, ils vont créer leurs propres habitations pour survivre.
They then build
leur-
communities and dwellings to survive.
leur verger,
The garden
leur-
is
leurs
irrigated
différents
using complex
jardins qui
systems
sont
that link to the
apparemment
Tigris
connectés
and the
sur le
Euphrates
fil de
rivers.
l'Euphrate. Donc déjà, on retrouve donc les deux
So we again
fleuves
find a connection to the
bibliques
Bible
et,
with the Garden of Eden
le
and the
nom
two
d'Éden.
biblical
C'est
rivers,
très
which is
intéressant.
very interesting.
Et il arrive un épisode qui ne se retrouve, lui, par contre, pas du tout dans la
The
Bible, à
Sumerian
savoir
story
que,
is different to the Bible's account of the
enfin,
Garden of
partie,
Eden.
à savoir que le
It tells that
jardin va
mankind
entrer
entered
dans
the
le
garden
jardin
to steal
pour voler
fruits
les
from the
fruits des dieux,
gods.
mais qu'ils vont de ce fait.
As a consequence,
les
mankind
humains
contaminates the
contaminent
garden, so the
donc,
gods decide to
les
burn
dieux
part of it to
décident
contain the
de
problem.
brûler une partie du jardin d'Éden, de créer de plus en plus de
They
structures
restructure
autour
their
du
defenses
jardin,
and
des
created more
murs
walls
pour
to
que le
prevent
jardin
mankind getting
puisse
back
passer.
in.
Et Enki a pour mission donc de soigner.
Enki is the chief healer of the colony and is immune to the contamination risk presented by humans. This is because his own mother, Namu, also used to work with mankind and developed an immunity to contamination, passing this to Enki.
Alors, autre point très intéressant de ces textes, c'est que à partir du moment où Enki va soigner les humains, les Anunnaki vont lui donner.
A really important part of the text is when Enki goes to treat humans.
De parler aux humains justement pour qu'ils ne reviennent plus. Donc ça sera Enki
The
va
Anuna
devenir le
give him
seul
the mission to talk to the
intermédiaire
humans and to make sure that
entre
humans
Dieu
do
et
not
les
come
humains.
back into the Garden of Eden.
Plusieurs passages sumériens le nomment très clairement avec le mot mush,
Becoming the
c'est-à-dire
exclusive
serpent.
intermediary between
Donc,
mankind
Enki
and the
est le
gods.
serpent
It is also interesting to note that Enki is regularly referred to in Mesopotamian mythology as Mosh, which means serpent or snake. He also looks like a serpent and spoke to the humans while watching over the garden. In the Bible, the snake described in the Garden of Eden is basically the description of Enki. It's the same story.
Et autre point stupéfiant de ces tablettes, c'est que Enki va entretenir
Another fascinating point in the Sumerian tablets is that Enki is a good friend to mankind.
Et on apprend petit à petit dans les textes.
And we learn that Enki is in fact teaching humans the secrets of the
La
gods.
connaissance des dieux, à savoir
It is said the most important of these secrets was the knowledge of the tool. In Mesopotamian literature, the term niche means both a tool and tree. So again, we can see parallels to the tree of knowledge in the Bible. The persistence of the human race to master space travel is interesting. With all the mysteries surrounding space, perhaps organizations like NASA are protecting some secrets. Humanity has this obsessive desire to be able to leave the solar system. But I do not think this is possible. Since, in my opinion, the doors are still blocked. And regarding the current space missions taking place, there is a lot of mystery and secrets, as I believe there is a living presence on Mars and on the Moon, which would explain why we have not been back to the Moon for a very long time. It would also explain the failures on the Mars missions. And the lack of solutions to the problems they are facing. I think that the conquest of space depends on specific bases from each nation to another. I think, for example, that the Chinese government are probably in contact with intelligent beings that are currently living on the Moon. Perhaps they are on good terms with them, contrary to the United States governments. Each nation could be trying as hard as they can to find a solution to escape this trap we are currently in. Trapped within the solar system. Each nation may be in communication with different ET clans, exploring different solutions to try and escape. I don't think it is the Anunnaki on the Moon. I think it's more specifically the Kingu. I believe there are bases of the Orma clan present on the Moon. The Orma are the warriors of the Kingu clan that was at war with the Anunnaki. Also, when the Anunnaki first arrived on Earth, they needed a workforce. The gods placed Enki in charge of the project, which is how mankind was created.
Thank you for watching The Fifth Kind. Please check out our official website at fifthkind.tv.